programme features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a spectacular start to our afternoon safari with one of our leopards we don't see all that often these days, but is very nice to see in the form of Hukumuri. You can see he's looking as bulky and as big as ever, and you've come at just the right time because he's been sleeping all afternoon and has just decided to wake up in the last 20 seconds and is now off on a mission, which is not ideal because he's going to cover ground much quicker than we want him to do. These cool kind of conditions means that he might start heading off towards sort of Treehouse Dam side and might even cross out before our show this evening, but I'm hoping he's going to find a warthog or something in the meantime. Anyway, my name is Tristan. On camera I've got Senzo, and it is a very, very, very warm welcome to all of you. Remember that we are coming to you live from South Africa, and so if you have any questions about Hukumuri, then let us know on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or at FC on the YouTube chat stream. And remember to keep it relevant, which I would suggest would be all things leopard today, because James is going to also be out. He's going to be heading towards Hosana, and Jamie's also out, and she's going to be scratching around for Tandy, who was seen late this morning, and then Tingana was also around this morning, so she's going to also have a little look around, and so hopefully we'll have a leopard trifecta. But he seems like he spotted something. Not sure what it is. Hopefully it's going to be something like a warthog, because we know Hukumuri loves a warthog when it comes to hunting. I'm going to try and see if I can get round and get a better view of whatever's going on here. So just going to try and head in this direction. Very exciting way to start, though, isn't it? The best thing about it is that I have a very special person on the back who has been dying to see Hukumuri for a very long time. So Oli is on the back with me. Oli, do you want to say hello quickly? Yeah. Yes, there we go. There is Oli is saying hello because he has been wanting to see Hukumuri for the longest time. And so he is super excited that he's managed to come across his leopard that he wanted to see. So I'm super glad that we managed to bring him with us for the afternoon. So he's going to enjoy some Hukumuri time with me this afternoon. Now, what has he seen? The way he's reacting is he's running towards the nearest termite mound there, just trying to get across a little ditch quickly. Now, I believe a lot of you are very happy to see Oli and to see that he's doing well. He is very well. He's been studying hard for his upcoming Fagase exams, and so I'm hoping that he's going to be able to pass very, very well. Where is he gone now? Right, now we're going to try to catch up with Hukumuri. We're not very close to where James is, but James in the meantime has got his own spotted cat down near Gari Dam.
Good afternoon. Here we sit with the little chief Hosana, and he is at his normal pantry of the dam pan. Now you'll notice that we are very far away from him today, and I shall explain why. My name is James Hendry. On camera today we have got Sebastian Rombini. He used to be, of course, the greatest French Gabonese Air Force pilot in history until the demise of his aircraft. Right, what we're doing is parking quite far away from the waterhole here. We've watched him try and hunt here before, and impala are really very nervous of absolutely everything. And so what we've done is we've parked far enough away from the water that we think if some impala come down, they will still drink despite our being here. And that means we won't be intruding at all on Hosana's ability to hunt. Now, he's been pretty much in this position for the whole day. Those of you who've been watching the dam cam will know this. And we're not going to move from here. And that's going to be a little bit irritating for some of you, I think, if he decides to lie down, because he will then become invisible. But I'm going to resist the temptation to move, because as soon as we disturb what's going on around here, we disturb the kind of peace around this waterhole, the chances of him being able to catch something that comes down to drink, or the chances of anything coming down to drink, will be reduced. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask that you bear with me for the next 2 hours, And, we can talk about anything else you like. We can talk about him too. But this is the best picture we're going to get of him, unless he decides to get up and start stalking something. So I hope that you don't mind that that's what we're going to do, and that will be our approach for the afternoon. Okay, now, Jamie Patterson has also got a magnificent creature to show you. You won't believe what it is.
Well, I have several magnificent creatures. James and Seb have Hosana, Tristan and Senzo have Hukumuri, and David and I have some birds. A very good afternoon to you all. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Davy is on camera with me. And I'm actually quite serious about how exciting this is. It's a murmuration of starlings, and there's about 30 of them, from the greater blue-eared starling, including Burchell's starling as well. There's lots and lots of them. They're just unfortunately quite difficult now. They're all gathered together in the road. And then there's the hornbill with an identity crisis, who appears to think that he is a starling. But I really have never seen this many hornbill. Look at him, this many starlings all combined together. A proper murmuration of about 30 plus. It is actually a feeding party, so it's not just the hornbill with the identity crisis. There are a number of other birds. I just saw a white-crowned shrike somewhere. I would tell Darby where it is, but I don't know anymore. But there you go. Every single tree appears to have at least one starling in it. Darby, remember the Salas days, where after a long night out, one would go attempt to sleep in the guide tent that we were in, and next to us at all times there were starlings making an absolute racket, screeching constantly. It wasn't really their fault. We weren't meant to be asleep during the day. It was awesome. It would be a lot more effective on a nice sunny day, but the weather is truly unpleasant today. Co-Sider says the hornbill is cool. Look, I think the starlings are cool too. They would be cooler if you could see them all in the sunlight. But perhaps the hornbill is actually too cool for the rest of the hornbills and has decided to hang out with the troublesome pack of starlings. Starlings are naughty birds, confident, noisy, often regulars around campsites and camps. So perhaps the hornbill has fallen into some bad company. That's why he's working on his mohawk there. Black mohawk down the middle of his head. He's puffed up, he's so cold. I know, guys. It's a miserably chilly day. Little bit of rain, little sprinkling of rain this morning. I also happened to see Tandy, just by the way. I tried to follow her. I was going to babysit her. It didn't go well. I lost her. Moving on to someone who does have a leopard, let's go to Tristan, who hasn't managed to lose Hukumuri yet.
Indeed, we do have a leopard, and it's his trademark kind of position that he's in. He lay down, but now he's up and moving once more. So, as you can see, he's going to come past us shortly. Just wait for him to kind of move before I shift around. There we go. He's moving very, very close to the car, which is awesome. So, nice to have him. But I don't know what he spotted. He spotted something that he's very, very intrigued by. Now, I do apologize if you heard me move my cap. Unfortunately, it was twisted on my mic pack, so I just wanted to move it quickly. Right, Sense. Hooks, where are you off to? At the rate he's moving now, he's going to be gone in the next half an hour, which is not ideal at all. But let's see how we go. Maybe he'll find something and end up catching it, and we can kind of stay with him. What are you sniffing? He's sniffing very, very, very heavily around on the ground there. I don't know if he spotted warthogs, or maybe he spotted something that he thought would be a feasible hunting option. Maybe he saw another leopard, but I don't see any phlegm and grimace. But you see, look how his nose is to the ground. Look, you see how he's smelling? So he's trying to work out what's going on. It's not very far from where we had the lions yesterday, but they didn't really walk in this direction. We didn't have any tracks in this direction when we were tracking them at first, but that's not to say over time they didn't get you with Trishala. I can't remember where Trishala actually followed the lions yesterday. I think it was in this direction, so maybe that's what he's picking up. But he's definitely scenting something. Often, if it's an animal that lies down a lot, they'll also smell like that, so something like a duiker or a steenbok. Those things also catch their attention too. But what was interesting is he was fast asleep. He was kind of sitting flat on his side, and all of a sudden the wind came up and he was up like a shot and then running, and you could see there's some sort of kind of intrigue that he's got and something that he's watching. I'm just going to sit down. All right, so I sense it's repositioning themselves. Unfortunately, still can't shake the silly cold that I've got, so I do apologize if you hear me sniffing. Now, a lot of you are wondering where Tingana is. Well, Tingana was left this morning. He was left in Buffelshoek, so pretty much straight north from where we are at the moment, but inside Buffelshoek, in an area near Jacana. Now, Jacana is quite far to the north, so I don't think he's here, although Tingana would be back this far just yet, but you never know. Sorry, I was just trying to tell the guys, because they went to park ahead of us in case he moved. I was trying to tell them that he's gone down and he's just sitting at the moment. I don't think he's going to be down for long, but whatever it was that he possibly saw, maybe he picked up the scent here, realized it's not something that he actually wants to deal with and is just laid down again, or he's just sitting and waiting to smell or listen or pick up any other sign again before he decides to move on. But he's very alert. You see, he's up again and looking around the direction we just came from, so I don't know what it is that he's smelling, but we'll sit with him for a while longer, see what happens. In the meantime, though, I'll send you back across to Hosana, who's in a similar spot.
We are still here, as I said we would be, with Hosana, the male leopard. I must tell you also that Tandy, the female leopard, sister to Hosana, grumpy sister to Hosana, was found... Yes, I'm speaking quietly. How's your audio, Sebastian? I'm sorry, it's soft. How's it now? Is it all right? Yes? My microphone?
Some better on my side.
Good. Okay, right. Tandy was very close to camp, in fact, during the course of the morning, and Jamie spent an extended period with her, waiting to see what she would do, and then she got up and disappeared by walking into the camp, pretty much, between the staff village and the camp, and she might pop out here at some stage. Impossible to get a vehicle into where she was going, and in fact she was so displeased with Jamie that Jamie thought she wouldn't even try and follow her in with the vehicle. So she's around here somewhere. Maybe we'll get to see her a little bit later. Hosana hasn't moved at all. He's eyeing out the impala that you were looking at, and those impala, of course, are just sort of supping, I suppose, on the little green shoots that have come out as a result of the small rains we had today and the heavy mists, as Sebastian pointed out to me, that we had over the last few mornings. So that's what's going on there. There they are. Now that's not grass, that's little water weeds that tend to pop up after water. Hosana is watching them, but of course he will not do very well to expose himself at this stage. And for those of you who perhaps haven't been watching for a while, or maybe you're a new viewer, Hosana, the 3-year-old male leopard, ate an impala almost in its, let's say he had 2/3 of it, about... When was that? It was on probably Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday? And so I don't think he's very hungry, but he could certainly eat again today. And there are some impala that are showing some intent to come back down here and have a drink. But you see, because it's not a particularly cold day, I'm not sure that they're going to rush down to have a drink. JB, yes, there is a possibility that the pumped water at this pan may run out. It comes from the same borehole or aquifer that... Sorry, I paused because I thought I heard a monkey alarming, but I didn't. It comes from the same aquifer that feeds our camp, and so if it runs out, yes, indeed, as we too will go the way of all flesh that can't get water, so this pan will do the same, unfortunately. So we do have to watch out. We have to conserve water. We are unlikely to get a proper deluge before the end of the year, and so it is possible that our aquifer could run dry, and that means that this pan will run dry at the same time. And then Hosana's pantry will have to be sought elsewhere. Now, Hosana, of course, can afford to just lie here by the pan because he's not territorial. He has no inclination to mark himself a territory, and so, unlike his father, who must wander around or peeing on bushes and shouting his head off in order to maintain his territory and keep intruders from taking it from him, Hosana can just sit here, just vegetate next to the water and wait for something to come, and then he will try and catch it. And as the dry season takes hold, I'm hoping that he finds this place as productive as he always has. He's in a very good spot. And so if anything comes down to drink, I think he'll have a good chance of having a go at it. At the moment, the only thing that's had a drink down here is a laughing dove. And otherwise, all is peaceful and quiet on Sunday afternoon here at Nkuhuma Private Game Reserve on the western fringes of the Great Kruger National Park. You can hear not a great deal of birdsong. A couple of Birchel's starlings going squawk, squawk behind us. Firefly, yes and no. I suppose that concentration of lions certainly affects the density of other predators. They certainly would move away. If, for example, there was a lion den on the reserve, you'd find that that den would be given a wide berth. But I don't think that it would change the territories of the resident male and female leopards. And so, although it may well be a situation where leopards might avoid a certain area, they wouldn't reduce or contract their territories. That said, you know, if Tingana was on a territorial patrol and he smelt lion, he would not be so terrified that he wouldn't try and investigate what he was smelling. And if he then came across a den, of course he'd kill those cubs. He wouldn't think twice about it. I don't think there's a den on Nkuhuma, though. I know that there is a den, but I just really feel like the amount of time we spend driving around this reserve and walking it flat, I really feel like we would have seen it. Or certainly seen evidence of lionesses going in and out of an area. And so I'm going to say I don't think that there were any youngsters here. I think they might be on Beefle's Hook to the north of us. That would make the most sense. That's the least activity, or the place with the least activity, and therefore I think that's most likely. I'm not sure what Hosana can see down into the dam. He seems to be looking quite intently across the way there. Is it another little herd of impalas coming this way? Perhaps a nyara or a tiger? Apparently, Pajamas Patterson is taking what's known as a humble bumble.
I'm taking a humble bumble. What a brilliant way of phrasing that. That is now how I shall refer to bumbles forever afterwards. Where are you off to? Oh, I'm on a humble bumble. That's great. My humble bumble has not produced any kind of sighting as yet. And it doesn't mean I've given up hope, though. I was going to tell you my Tandy story. So this morning she was called in just after drive, right outside our camp. And she was lying down in a drainage line. And I went in there just to babysit her for the rest of the day. I'm going to switch around so that we can keep an eye on her. And June came in. For those of you who don't know, June is a hyena. And she just harassed and harassed and harassed Tandy. Or she actually didn't harass her. She just walked all the way around checking to see if there was a kill around Tandy. Didn't find anything. Then Tandy walked through the drainage line. And then I was parked on the opposite side. For some reason decided she really didn't like me this morning. Came bouncing up. And stopped just so I could see her eyes and her ears. And she just hissed at me to Tandy smile for what felt like quite a long period of time, because they were quite short in the Mahindra, so I couldn't really see anything except her eyes, and I certainly wasn't going to sit up on the door. So we held eye contact for a very long time, and then she went and lay down next to me. Weird cat. And then June came in, and Tandy just lost it. She got so angry that she chased June, and I mean, Tandy's about half the weight of June. She just chased her all the way through the camp and gone. I couldn't keep up with her. Well, it's not that I actually couldn't keep up with her. There was no way I could have driven through the staff quarters to get around. She didn't go into the camp, but she moved through underneath the elephant wire. So that was my morning with Tandy, which I feel like would make a very good title for a book. Tandy and other stories. And my plan from now is to try and see if I can find her again. I don't know where to start, though, because it's Tandy. I don't know where to start, though, because it's Tandy and she could be anywhere. Also want to check and see whether the lines back in from Torch. Thinking maybe Buffelshoek Dam. There's not that many places for them to drink. Trailing that, some elephants. We will go to the hyena den a bit later to see if they're there. We've got all sorts of proverbial sleeves. She likes this area. Okay, apparently my signal's a little bit low in this area that Tandy likes. No surprise there. I send you across to Tristan, who's doing his best to keep up with Hukumuri.
Well, hopefully Jamie will find where the signal is and she'll be okay. As you can see, Hukumuri is busy scent marking. He's also got the sneezes. He seems to have got some grass or dust up his nose because he's sneezed a few times and kind of has rubbed his face a little bit as well. So I wonder if there's not something that's just irritating his nose a little bit at the moment. But anyway, he's on a serious mission. He's turned heavily to the east now. So he was headed steadily going south. He's now heading deep into Djuma. We're heading at this rate. If he just stays on the course that he's on now, we'll be at Philemon's Dip fairly shortly. So he's moving quite quickly and, like I say, straight east at the moment, which in some respects is good, other respects not so good, given that obviously Hosana has been hanging around central Djuma. We don't really want Hukumuri to pick up his scent and try and follow him. What interests me, though, is that this morning, well, there's two things that are very interesting. First thing I'll get into, which is not related to this at all, and then the second thing is related. The first thing is that Kuchava was seen today. Steve was looking for some animals for tonight's show, and he managed to bump into Kuchava earlier in the day, and she's, by the looks of things, and from the guides that were able to follow her inside Torchwood, she apparently looks like she's got cubs at the moment, which is quite interesting. So for those of you that were wondering about Kuchava, since the last time she was seen, it does look like she has cubs. So hopefully there'll be some news on those fairly soon. And then the other sort of related topic is that Tingana today was seen in an area where we have not seen him for many months. Sandy patch area, Vuyatela access, and I haven't seen Tingana there since he's been sick. It's not to say he hasn't gone there, but that's just where I haven't seen him. And so what's interesting is it coincides with Hukumuri being back on the property that he's pushed that far west. I wonder if he didn't hear Hukumuri come this side and maybe, just maybe, came to investigate what was going on, and there might have even been a little bit of kind of, shouting at one another. Sometimes male leopards, that's how they settle their disputes, is they shout at each other, and that's how things get sorted. Oh, Hukamuri, really? Sorry, Sins. We're going to have to try and figure out another way through here, which is not going to be all that easy. Let's try from here. Right, I'm going to try and get through here. This might be a bit interesting and a bit tricky. And so while I do that, let's send you back across to James with Hosana, who's being far kinder to James and is just sitting pretty.
Lucky Tristan has got Holly to lift him out of trouble. Powerful young man. Not particularly keen on running, I must tell you, but he is a strong young fellow. We have not moved, as I promised we would not. Hosana is, I think, getting bored, actually. He's been sat here the whole day, and now he's trying to find out why it is that his patience isn't paying off. I also think that his attention has been alerted by some alarm-calling birds. And I think that Tandy is not far from here. Cat, yes, I think that Hosana is lazier today because of the weather. We often say, well, it's a cool day, the predators might walk today, might move around during the middle of the day. In my experience, that isn't actually the case. If it's cold and miserable, they sleep when it's cold and miserable. But if it's, and we've often seen predators, especially leopards, moving around in the most blinding of summer heat. So, yeah, I think that they are a little bit like us. I don't see why they wouldn't be. This weather makes us feel sort of down and lethargic, and I think that's got to do with sunlight and its effect on vitamin D and melatonin and other hormones that perhaps would give us a bit more energy and inspire us to greater things when it's sunny. Which really makes you wonder how on earth Britain ever managed to create an empire. Because if I lived in Britain, I would be lethargic 24 hours a day. Maybe that's it's probably how they did it. They just left in droves. I'm scanning the area for his sister, but with my binoculars I have yet to see any sign. Anyway, we'll continue our stakeout with Hosana. I know this will probably irritate Sebastian as much as it'll irritate you, I may move even slightly further back. Okay. Same angle, just a little bit further away. But we'll see. And the Game Drive radio has now become deeply excited by the presence of leopards. Ooh, here we go. Hello, Magic Dragon Wizard. I don't know if Hosana will stay here. Really, if I was to guess one way or t'other, and that guess were to prove correct, it would have been nothing but blind luck. So I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what his plan is, what his desires are. I don't really see why he should leave at the moment. Oh, Hukamuri seems to have found himself a snack. I'm going to wait here, if that's all right.
He has found something. I can't see what it is. I think it's potentially some sort of poo that he's busy eating. I know it doesn't sound very good, but he looks like he's got a dirty nose, doesn't he? And so it brings new meaning to the word brown noser. But he's probably shoving his nose into some sort of dung. They often do this, and they roll around in it, and it's something that male leopards do, particularly with buffalo dung. But I can't see anything there, and we don't have any buffalo around really. So my guess is that it's maybe wildebeest or something that he's busy sorting out, or there is the scent of something he's very interested in. But I suspect it's more dung. I don't see any carcass or anything like that. But he was walking steadily, and he just stopped right here and started rolling, and is now biting and sniffing about, and so it's a bit tricky to figure out exactly what he's got there or what it is. Like I say, I suggest dung is probably the best sort of guess that I have, and like I say, I'd imagine it's probably wildebeest. They at the moment are leaving quite a lot of dung in this area, and they spend a lot of time down the side. Our wildebeest herd from quarantine, so what do you think, Sens? I think that's what we've got. Maybe there's been a lone buffalo moving around. We know there has been a buff around, but I don't think we've seen any tracks for him out this side. Now, I believe a lot of you are going, ooh. Well, it's just really grass that has passed through a digestive system, essentially. There's really not much to antelope dung, and so it's not that bad, to be honest. I mean, in South Africa, there's even that game where you put poo in your mouth and you try and spit it as far as you can. Antelope poo, that is. Impala is normally the one that people use, although sometimes people upgrade to a bigger caliber like giraffe or kudu, but the bigger calibers are not really that easy in comparison to impala poo. So impala poo is normally the one that's kind of mostly used, and to see how far you can spit it. So it really is just processed grass more than anything else. But Hukumuri seems to love it. He, for some reason, has got his face buried in what it is. Sometimes you'll find these male leopards that their whole face looks black from doing this. I mean, we've seen Hosana sometimes with his head like that. Hukumuri, where are you going, boy? You've just come from there. And he's going to scent mark. I wonder if there's not a scent of another leopard here that he's picking up. Maybe Tingana walked here, maybe Hosana, maybe there's been a female, but you can see he's definitely smelling with his dirty nose. Hello, boy. If you've got your nose on the ground, makes me wonder if maybe he's picked up the scent of Tingana. You see, look, scent marking as well. Typical when a leopard smells another one. The only thing that suggests that he potentially hasn't smelt a male leopard is that he's not salivating. Normally when a male leopard smells another male, his salivation starts to happen, and that's because they start getting the testosterone flooding and they start getting amped up in order to try and defend their territory. Are you going to lie there? He's lying in a very horrid place. I also need to turn to face you guys the right way before Kirsty shouts at me. Otherwise, in next week's review, I'll be shouted at for not facing the right way. So there we go. But he's looking really good, isn't he? I mean, at the moment, he's come off a kill. He was on a kill. I was so close to getting shot at. You see Kirsty telling me in my ear, thanks, Kirsty. You see, I was quick there to realize that I was in trouble. I was in the danger zone. But he looks good. He's just come off a kill, like I say, off Arethusa. I think he had a warthog there for a few days. So he's looking very, very well at the moment. His overall body condition is looking good. He seems to always look more and more impressive as the days go on. When he first arrived here, he was a bit kind of scraggly and didn't really look that bulky, but he's bulked up quite nicely, and he looks like a serious fellow these days. I quite like him. I know a lot of people don't. You might saw, listen. He's growling a little bit. If he drops his head again, I'm going to keep quiet, because that's often when they saw. No, he's stopped now, but he almost sounded like he was about to saw there. He made this little low grumble, and they dropped their head, and that's often when they saw into the ground like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do hear a saw at some point soon. He's definitely got his nose down on the ground. I would imagine he's smelling another cat. Which cat that could be, I don't know. There's definitely another cat that's been around here that's intriguing Hukumuri at this stage. And like I said, it could be Tandy, it could be Tlalamba, it could be Shidulu, it could be really anyone. Although Shidulu, I don't think so, because she essentially has been seen almost every day on Arethusa over the course of the last few weeks. But we did have a track that came from this area about 2 days ago, and I wasn't sure who it was. It eventually crossed into Little Gari, and so maybe, just maybe, There's a female leopard that walked through here. It could be a Tandy or something like that that has been here. And especially if Tandy's not had cubs and it starts coming into an estrus, that will be of severe interest to a leopard like Hukumuri. He obviously wants to try and reproduce as much as possible. So I'm intrigued to see where this takes him and if he follows a scent, because that will give us an indication of who it is. If he follows a scent northeast towards the dam, then we know he's following potentially Tandy. Right, now Hukumuri is getting comfortable and is about to roll on his back like a little kitten. But in the meantime, there's far more serious business going on at Gari Dam as Hosana begins to hunt.
We have got a little hunt going on here. Now what he's doing is he's going to try and sneak between here and some bushes behind which those impala have now moved. Now we've been very, very nice to him by staying away. You won't believe it, but another vehicle's sort of pulled up and they've too been very sensitive about the situation, but they're actually in the perfect position now. Can you see where the impala is there, Seb? It's straight in front of us and there's a vehicle behind it. So what he's trying to do, everybody, you see that greenery there? He's now, I think, going to try and get into that greenery so that he can get at the herd of impala that one belongs to. That one belongs to a herd of about 10 or so that was eating down in the dam. I don't know where the rest of them are. They must be just behind that one. I don't know if the dam cam can see them. Ooh. And what's interesting is that I don't think any of those impala drank from the scummy water down in the dam, and I wonder if they're not going to think about coming here. I can now see 2 impala there. So they're going to make their way up into the clearings. I don't think they're going to come down here to drink. Now 3. And that's why he was interested, you see. Apparently a number of you asking if the lapwings are going to dive bomb the small chief. I don't think they are going to dive bomb the small chief because I don't think that the lapwings have got youngsters at the moment. You can see them, they're moving away from the waterhole now as he watches, no doubt feeling a sense of slight irritation. There's something profoundly amusing about a leopard when he flattens his ears like that. He's in such a great position. If anything came down to drink, well, except he'd have to burst out of there. He'd probably trip and fall into the water before he got close to anything. See what he does here. They've all got their backs turned to him. I'm not going to move. We're going to keep as quiet as possible. Try not to drop anything in the car so that they don't look this way. If they start grazing here, he might try and stalk up to them, but I think not. I think they're going up towards quarantine clearings where they'll probably settle for the evening. Apparently the lapwings do have eggies at the moment. Well, yes, then they could easily dive bomb Hosana if he's anywhere near their eggies. I don't know where their eggies are. And I take my hat off to the dedicated and brilliant Zoomy who managed to find the eggies using the dam cam. And there is Le Petit Chef. Do you like that, Sebastian?
Mm-hmm. Le Petit Chef.
It's got quite a nice ring to it, really. Le Petit Chef is just thinking about the remaining impala in the bushes there, watching that impala's friends, thinking to himself, should I, shouldn't I, knowing he shouldn't, but perhaps being unable to overcome his sense of impatience. Cap, the reason he's hanging around this location is that it's the only water in the area, or some of the only water in the area, and many predators choose this as a strategy to try and kill. They'll hang around waterholes, and as it gets drier and drier, so also will they have more and more success. He also, of course, has learned that this is a good place to be from his years as a young non-territorial male leopard. he's probably spent about, I'm going to say, as much as 20%, maybe 15 or 20% of his time here. And it's proved very fruitful for him. He has killed much that has come down to have a drink, sometimes in broad daylight, sometimes in the evening. And an impala seems to have a profoundly short memory, which is much to his advantage. Although they are normally nervous when they come down to drink, because they do suspect that there is something trying to eat them all the time, because there is normally something trying to eat them all the time, they seem to become no more fearful than they would be otherwise at this waterhole. All he has to do is hide for a couple of hours and then they'll come wandering down again. Yeah, that, unfortunately, is going to be that for Hosana's little hunt. Still, it was quite fun, wasn't it? Well done, Hosana. Ooh. Now the monkeys have either spotted him or Tandy. They're starting to call, and that's why he's put his head down. You might just be able to hear the monkey starting to alarm. Tandy is around here somewhere, and whether that monkey has seen him or Hosana, I couldn't say. They have very good eyes, of course. What's the monkey again in French? Le singe.
Le singe.
Le singe. I don't know why I find that word so deeply amusing. All right, apparently the humble bumbler is still looking for Tandy. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The humble bumble. I'm very far away from where those monkeys are alarm calling, but I do feel as though the humble bumble is a sort of one step on the path to enrichment. It sounds like one of those spiritual journeys one might take. I'm really enjoying my humble bumble. I'm buoyed by the joy of imagining Poli's face when he saw Hukumuri. That's what's been... it's completely lifted my spirits on this gloomy afternoon. I'm so happy for him. Our beloved Poli got... Oh man, it's just so cool. I'm so happy for him. He's been dying to see Hukumuri. I'm so thrilled that we got to make it. Also goes to show how long it's been since we've seen Hukumuri properly, but anyway. Okay. We have arrived at Buffelshoek Dam. I sort of thought Tandy might have moved this way if she wasn't around the lodge, but I think she might be. What do we have? We do not have scuba. We do not have Sarah. We no longer have a heron. Hey! Well done, Darby. I can hear frantic squeaking from the dwarf mongoose, but I can't see them. Well done, Darv. Awesome. A+ camera work, says Kirsty. I know, absolutely. Now, where are these dwarf mongoose? Because I can hear them, but I cannot see them. Hoping there might be a leopard here, or some lions. I was actually really hoping for some lions. It's one of the only places they can come and drink in this corner. But, nay, 'tis not to be. The humble bumble is not for the faint of heart. But we will have to continue on with it until we reach our journey's completion, whatever that may be. What to do? Do I go check the boundary for the lions in Kuchava? Do I race back and place my bets on Tandy in the dark? Try and stay with her in the dark, or around Gallagher? We've got 2 leopards already. I'm inclined to say we'll stick with our current process and hope that she makes her way out onto a road, and maybe one of the other vehicles, because there's a lot of vehicles working around that area. Maybe one of them will see her. It just doesn't make logical sense to me to go racing off there when there's so many other people looking out for leopards that side as well. Right, we're going to humbly bumbly off towards the eastern boundary now. I think that's my idea. RP, welcome to our live safari. RP says, I want to see a lion. Me too. RP, I will make it my mission in life to try and show you a lion, provided there are lions on Juma, or indeed even if there are lions not on Juma, but somewhere within the range of our camera. I would really like to see a lion too. I would like to see a lioness. I failed dismally yesterday at finding them. I have to tell you about my lion yesterday. You know, we have a rehearsal for our TV show on a Saturday night and a Friday night, but last night was Saturday. And we did an ad break. I mean, we do practice ad breaks where we go count down into where the TV ads come in. And my idea, in theory, and it was a good idea, was that he was going to roar going into the ad break. What he did was, at 10 seconds, started going, And then as Kirsty says, okay, hold off speaking, as we went into the ad break, he started roaring. It was great. I was so proud of him. What a gem. The lion didn't hold off speaking. Okay, we should be fine now. And it's just the truth. I have this dream. Oh. Should have been all right here, but unfortunately we're not. So we're going to send you back across to James and Hosana. Apparently my timing with the signal dips is shocking this afternoon.
Not sure what her dream has to do with the signal, but that's fair enough. Here is Hosana. He has now moved and come the other side of the dam wall. And now he walks towards us. He's looking at where Tingana was yesterday, and I must confess, Le Petit Chef is not looking particularly fat after his meal, and so I feel like he could probably eat again. Coming down to where his meal was. Hello, everyone. I'm just trying to stay out of your way. Yes, he certainly does not look like a leopard who's just had a meal, I must say. He looks fairly hungry. Now he's going to have a dump. It's nice to see. Well done, Hosana. And thank you, Sebastian, for the modesty with which you are shooting this particular scene. Mary, as far as I'm aware, things like burying the poo-poo are instinctual behaviors. In other words, I don't think he learns to do them. It's possible that he watched his mother do it, and that's why he does it. I'm not convinced that's the case. Because, you know, he'd have left his mother by the time he started burying his dung, I suspect. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We're going to try and avoid driving over that particular bit of dung. And he hasn't buried that. And the reason he hasn't buried it, and it does smell something evil, is because he doesn't have a kill here, and so he's not really trying to avoid being seen or smelt in this case. Now, this could get quite nasty from a following point of view. To try and keep up with this cat through here will not be a task for the faint-hearted, but we are going to try. We are going to be full of courage, aren't we, Sebastian? Mm-hmm. Here we go. Oh, many of you are saying I need to collect the scat. That's very true. I don't actually have a vial with me, which is not very good. But at the same time, we do have much of his scat, and so we don't really need his. But that would have been a good one, a very good one. He's having a little trot now. Oh, he's so perfectly camouflaged for this area. I'm just going to turn off. He's just over there, Seb. He looked like he'd seen something. I, of course, am not the only one trying to keep up with a leopard. Tristan Dix is also 2-1.
Indeed, James. We're also trying our level best. Since I'm just going to go back a little bit, just so we can get out of his path. But we're trying to keep up with Hukumuri as well, which is obviously easier said than done because he's on a serious mission at the moment. And he's heading straight north now. He's changed direction completely. And so we're up towards quarantine. I wonder if he didn't hear the vervet monkey's alarm calling, and that's why his direction has changed. Obviously, it's always a concern when he changes direction like this because we know Hosana's in that direction, and Hosana, unfortunately, is getting to the point now with all the disturbances that he's had in the form of lions and Tingana and the rest, where he's going to have to start standing up for himself if he is to stay here. And he's going to have to start standing up to leopards like this and try and make himself kind of seem a lot bigger. So we're going to have to try and see what happens. Maybe he's going to start moving and Hukumuri won't come into play, but let's see how we go. Right. So, KO, how long until... I think what you said is how long until Hosana could challenge Hukumuri. Sorry, there was lots of people talking on the radio as Kirsty was feeding it through. Well, the day is coming where he's going to have to, if he wants to be a territorial male, he's going to have to start challenging, and whether that means challenging the likes of Hukumuri, skittish male, his dad, Tingana, at some point he needs to stand up for himself and say, well, I want to be here and I'm going to do everything I can to be here. So that means trying to be as territorially dominant as any other leopard, where he's going to have to soar, he's going to have to scent mark, he's going to have to show himself as a big male and not back down, which can be dangerous at times. But unfortunately, that's the life of a male leopard. At some point in your life, when you are young, you have to start standing up. Now, if you think of somebody like, or some cat like Hukumuri, the amount of effort he's had to go through in his life to become a dominant male gives you an idea of how hard it can be. I think let's just stay here, since it's not an easy job being a dominant male leopard, and it certainly requires a lot of risks in terms of taking on other leopards. I don't think Hosana is quite as big as Hukumuri just yet, certainly not as street smart nor as bulky. It has a long way to go, I think, until he can really stand up physically as well as, like I say, technically towards a leopard like Hukumuri. It's not to say that he can't put on a brave show. Sometimes smaller leopards can chase off larger leopards, and Hukumuri and Anderson is a bit of an example. By just being braver and far more aggressive, it does happen from time to time where leopards, will put on this serious kind of show to make sure that everybody understands that they're the dominant male. But to give you an idea of where we are, because it's quite interesting, from here we're quite high so we can see. If you zoom out from where Hukumuri is walking, that in the background is quarantine on top there. So just the direction he had to walk straight now, he's going to be on the southern side of quarantine, that open clearing on the top of the ridge there. That's where quarantine is. And Hosana is on the other side of that ridge at the dam. So that gives you an idea of kind of where we are. But I have a sneaky suspicion that it's not Hosana that he's tracking. I think he's tracking Tingana's scent. That's what my sneaky suspicion is, because he's now heading more kind of northwest, and we know Tingana's been around these areas, and so maybe that's who he's tracking, or he's tracking Tandy, who came out of this drainage this morning that he's heading into, and maybe she's coming into an estrus, like I say, and that's why he's kind of following in behind her. But where he's going is the Hukumuri kind of special. It is the most nasty, horrible block in the world. And so we're going to try and follow him through it and see if we can manage. In the meantime, though, I believe Jamie Patterson had a dream, and she would like to tell us all about it.
I have a dream. You know what? I feel this has been worked slightly up out of proportion here. But I will tell you what, I didn't actually have a dream. I have a goal that I would like to work towards in that sense. And by the way, I think if anyone can follow Hukamuri, Tristan can. My dream is to start, because you know how we have the This Is Safari Live openings for the safaris. My ideal is to have the perfect timing coincide as a lion roars and starts roaring as the disclaimer starts playing. We have the disclaimer in the beginning, this program features animal kills and carcasses, or whatever it may be. Features a live African safari. Animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised. So the lion starts roaring then, and you don't say anything. You just let the lion roar and roar and roar and play it all out right next to you, and then you just turn around and say, "This is Safari Live." That is my dream. I toyed with the best approach to that. Should I do "This is a lion" and "This is Safari Live," but I feel like it would have the most impact with just "This is Safari Live." So that's my dream. Or a leopard saw. And not once have I managed to get the timing spot on with my openings. Kirsty made me giggle there for a second. She reminded me of Steph's amazing moment many years ago during a rehearsal. Steph had never done a This Is Safari Live opening, but he was on walk and none of us had animals. So as they were about to go live with him, they realized he'd never done one, so they said to him, "You have to say This Is Safari Live." But, obviously we do a little 20-second spiel of "This is so exciting," whatever, "This is Safari Live." And Steph had no idea what was going on, so they said "Live, live," and Steph goes, "This is Safari Live." And then there was just this awkward moment, and he looked at the Nyala he was looking at and went, "This is an Nyala." And "This is Safari Live." Awkward as only Steph can pull off. Oh man, it was funny. Ah, Steph. We miss those moments. We're just trying to figure out his thinking face. I wish we had that. You can see Steph's thinking face when he gets a question through and he hasn't quite heard the name and he's going to get the name wrong. We all do it. My favorite trick is to go, "I would like to know." And just make a sound approximate to what I think I've heard, courtesy of the director. I don't have anything to show you, obviously. That's why I'm rambling about this down the eastern boundary. There's a lot that goes on in terms of our preparation for TV shows and the funny moments that we have every now and again. I once did an opening with Ferg, who forgot about the This Is Safari Live opening, and he just stayed on the zebra. But by now I have my whole speech planned out for the This Is Safari Live opening, and he did the slowest zoom out ever, and it took forever. So by the time I managed to get This Is Safari Live in, I was completely out of words, desperate, and all that was visible was the corner of my eye. "This is Safari Live!" Anyway, that was my dream. I'm sure that James has far more complex and interesting dreams, probably starting this evening with Hosana catching a meal.
The little chief seems to be about to pounce on something. Got no idea what it is. Oh, look, I suspect a scrub hare. I think I've just chewed a piece of tambuti leaf, everyone. If I die, you'll know why. Excuse me. Look, there we go. It was a bird. Do you think so? Shall we move? Let's go and have a look. Oh, it was a bunny. Has he got it? No, he doesn't have it. There's a bunny here. There is the bunny.
Oh, yeah.
But the leopard has disappeared. Oh gosh, that could be the end of that. Oh, there he is. I think the bird gave him away. Hosana, look to your left. He's just on your left. I can see him. The bunny is literally 20 meters to his left, but he don't know. He don't know nothing about that. Alrighty. I'll just give him a little bit of space. Of course, the darker it gets, the less space we can give him and still stay with him. Sorry, RC, I'm afraid I missed that. Let's have it again. The other radio was going. Wonderful to have you with us as a new viewer. Thank you for joining us. What was this about Africa? Oh, you had no idea that bunnies in Africa. Well, there are scrub hares and... So yes, there are different kinds of bunnies in Africa. Much bunny here in Africa. Africa, of course, a very vast place. About 3 times the size of the continental United States. There he goes, down through there, and up the other side. Held on tight, everybody. Lift your drinks up, and be careful not to knock your teeth out on your glasses. Oh! We should be able to get up here. He will probably turn and come straight back down again, of course. All right. Another bunny has just absconded the other way to the left. I'm going to go through here, Seb. I promise you that Gwari bush will get up after we've driven past it. Yes, it's just hit me in the elbow. Shame. I think he would have had that bunny if there hadn't been a bird between him and the bunny. We are now apparently going to go to Jamie, who is doing something called driving on a nice road.
All right, the humble bumble continues. I'm afraid I have no news at all. I'm now moving back into the centre of Djuma. Rexon has found the lions, so we know at least where they are. I'm not going to waste any more time checking the eastern boundary anymore because they're on Torchwood with the kudu. Not with the live kudu, with the dead kudu that they're eating, which is great. I'm glad they managed to get themselves a meal. So that's where they are at the moment. Sorry, I can't remember who it was. It was a random combination of letters. RP wanted to see a lion. I'm afraid at least the lions I was looking for are not. They're on Torchwood, which is the property just to the east of us. Doesn't mean we won't see lions, though. Still don't know where the males are. They could pop in at any moment. David thought he saw something on this road. We both concluded it was his imagination, but we're driving down it anyway, just in case. Cal 6 would like to know, while I search for things, how the puppy's doing, my puppy. Well, you know, I warned Brent when he named her Mahlolwa that people would not be able to say Mahlolwa Brent cannot even say Mahlorwa. He keeps missing out the second L. Anyway, naturally it has become shortened and become Chloe, which, because a lot of people can't say that either, is almost always Chloe. So the dog is doing very well. She's very happy. Brent's doing a really, really lovely job with her. She's house trained mostly. She has little accidents every now and again. She's a Jack Russell. She is a little force of nature. She no longer has to growl at the stairs because she can't go up them. She can now jump up them. And she no longer growls to get down either. She used to, when she was a little bit younger, growl at the stairs and then fall down them. That was her way of getting down, but she just sort of preemptively growled at the stairs in preparation. She doesn't have to do that anymore. She's very cute from the videos I've seen. She sounds really sad, because it is. She's very sweet. She has a favorite toy. It's a cow, in case you were wondering. She has a little favorite. And then Brent attached a bungee cord to the tree, which she loves. She absolutely loves. It's got a little rope on the end that she can pull, and she goes round and round and round and round pulling on the bungee cord. It's her best thing ever. Brent is paranoid to the point of hysteria at times, trying to keep her safe away from owls and leopards and all sorts of other things. Speaking of leopards, I'm sure that Hukamuri would consider Chloe a snack. Fortunately, she's quite far away from him.
Well, I can attest to the fact that Brent is a complete little marshmallow when it comes to that puppy, and it runs around trying to protect it as it goes. I wonder if Jamie's going to tell the story of her little incident with the puppy of late. Hukamuri, did you have to walk right past us, boy? Oh, you're a pretty cat. What's you doing inside here? It's a beautiful animal, that's for sure. Sometimes you've just got to stop and admire what a leopard looks like, because there is just something about them that is spectacular. Now, he's just behind the tree scent marking, so we're going to wait for him to kind of move past. Gabby, yes, Kirst, I got that. Thank you very much. Hukamuri's head is, well, yes, it is bulky, but it's not massive. It's just that his body is slightly smaller than that of Tingana's, and so his head appears that much larger, but actually his head is it's actually probably smaller than what Tingana's is. Tingana's just got such a big body and dewlap that his head appears a lot more in proportion than what you would see with Hukamuri. Right, I'm going to go back because otherwise we're going to lose him, and it's quite tricky to get in and out of this area, so careful there, Sens. You all right? I'm going to try and get back without hitting a false marula that's next to me here. Also without decapitating Senzo. There we go, there's Impala's alarm calling. So Hooks, did you get spotted, my boy? It's amazing how quickly this cat can move. He covers distance. He's like Tandy in that regard. Moves much faster than what you would expect. There he is there. He's right here. Good. Now, we're going to try and catch up. There he is. Oh, you're busy sniffing a bush. So while we have a last little look at Hukamuri, let's send you back across to James, who's trying to kind of keep up with Hosana.
Right, we are now driving through some thick bush after Hosana. He has gone north into, I suppose, what is essentially the Malawamati. Whoops, the daisies, there's a large stump in the way. Right, hold on tight, everybody. Going to be a little bit tough. There we go. Over we are. He's just over here, sniffing, hunting, looking very skinny, I must say. There he goes. I'll just get my fat head out of the way and you can have a look at him. Ian, I don't know what the resting heart rate of a leopard is right now. His heart rate is, I suspect, probably around about 120 beats per minute. I think it's probably slightly faster than a human being's. Apparently all mammals, and a cardiologist told me once, have a sort of within certain boundaries, have the same number of heartbeats per life. And so something that is very short-lived has a higher heart rate. I don't know what his heart rate is, though. I'm guessing at around about 120 now. I'm not sure. He certainly doesn't do a great deal of fitness exercises, so I suppose it's probably quite high. That said, he doesn't eat sugar or other things that might push his heart rate up and his blood pressure up. Alrighty, and now he's going into some more thick bush. Okay, we'll get up through here. I'm just going to wait. Am I? No, I'm going to go out. If he goes back into the drainage from here, it's going to be difficult to catch up with him. Oof. All right, let's go back to Jamie while we try and get through this rather heinous piece of bush.
Good luck through the heinous bush. We had some elephants, but they barreled off to the south. So I'm trying to go round them on Leadwood Road. I assume they're going to Chitwa Dam for a drink. Or perhaps I might follow them there. But I just have to get through the Murati here to do so. My humble bumble produced an animal, but then it ran away. Actually, several large animals. But they've disappeared. Let's see if we can catch them. Might take a bit of Ferrari safarying, but you never know. We might find a leopard at Tundams too. I just haven't seen elephants since for so long. They might be going to Tundams, come to think of it. There's not much water though, it's not very nice water. And elephants are notoriously fussy when it comes to the state of their drinking water. If they can drink cleanish water, they will. They much prefer it, and Twin Dams is basically mud at this stage. One jolly good wallow from a herd of elephants and it'll be gone. But let's see. We could either go to Twin or to Chitwa. I assume they haven't been seen on the dam camera. All right, I'm going to go through a couple of signal dips on my way to the elephants. While I do, let's head across to Hukumuri, who's made it out of the thickets and into the open.
Well, we are still following Hukumuri, who's now popped out onto quarantine and is definitely on the trail of a leopard. Which leopard it is, I don't know, but there's been lots of phlegm and grimacing, lots of smelling and looking. He's been shouted at by about 40 million other antelope as well, and so he's on a bit of a mission at this stage, heading sort of straight northwards. I'm going to try and just quickly turn. You should hear a kudu bark shortly, which I'll try to turn off for. James, what's the age difference between Hukumuri and Hosana? Difficult to say because we don't have an accurate age for Hukumuri, but we reckon it must be about, given Hukumuri is probably about 3 to 4 years older than Hosana. You can see the kudu on my right. I'm going to turn off for this because I'm hoping they're going to bark at him. Just want to give a bit of space. But you can see the male, the females. Isn't that cool? I'm actually going to see, he's coming a bit closer. They're not barking because I think they've already barked. There we go. You might have heard it in the background. Almost sounds like a dog that's barking. So we're trying to just stay in front of him so that you can see him as he walks towards us, because he's got the most menacing eyes. So of course it would be the kudu barks when I start the vehicle. They've barked quite a bit already, is probably why they're not making too much noise. So let me just give Hukumori a little bit more space and then we'll stop again. Also got to try and see where I'm going so that I don't crash. Alright, Sens, you reckon that's good? I think if we go a little further, then we'll have a nice straight line to Hukumori, as well as a lot more space that we can work with. There we go. And he's probably going to scent mark on these bushes just on the left here, where the marula is, I would imagine. Let's see if he does. It's a good, looks like a leopard scent marky spot, doesn't it? There we go. So you see, he's sniffing around. He might lift his tail. Let's see if he does. No, he's decided he's not going to scent mark there. I thought he might. It looked quite close for him to do so. Right, let's go back a little bit further again. It's always nice to stay in front, and especially when you get a leopard as relaxed as one of these guys, because it allows you these incredible views of a leopard walking straight at you, which is always so nice, rather than just seeing the tail. So I'm going to go quite a long way now. There's a nice straight road, so don't worry, Rusty's not sick. I'm just still in low range from when we crossed the drainage just now, so that's why Rusty is revving as high as it is. But how cool is that? He's just kind of moving straight at us at the moment. It'll be a nice kind of view of him walking directly towards where we are. You can see he's just stopping and listening every now and then. Christine, I must admit I disagree completely. Hukumori's eyes in no way remind me of Anderson Male's eyes. They're completely different colors. So I don't see the resemblance at all. It's not to say that he can't remind you of Anderson. I mean, these things are possible, but for me it's not the case. I don't know, maybe others out there agree with you, but I certainly don't see it. For me, his eyes are a lot more orange in color. In fact, his eyes are a lot more like Lemula's eyes, and his whole demeanor and body shape and everything looks a lot more Lemula-like than Anderson. Anderson's got these much lighter color. But yes, of course, you're right. Maybe it is just the intensity in which he kind of stares at you that reminds you of that. But I don't know, he has a different look altogether. Soon the tongue should start coming out because he's been walking for a while, so hopefully we're going to get that tongue coming out soon. Isn't that a cool picture? We really do have a nice job, don't we, Senzo? And Oli has been absolutely spoilt this afternoon by Hukumori. All right, so you want to look into his eyes? We've got to go soon because he's going to walk past us. In the meantime, though, let's send you across to Jamie, who's managed to catch up with her Ellies.
We've all been spoiled this afternoon. There we go, we've managed to catch up with our elephants. There's babies here and everything. I'm just going to turn the game drive radio down. Hello, big girls. There's little babies. Trunks all touching. They're in such a hurry. They're obviously really, really thirsty. They've got their water walk on. Unfortunately, I think they may cross over onto Little Gowrie. Oh, it's a big herd. Lots of elephants coming through. The elephants are quite silent animals, but when they're moving at this speed, you can really hear them, as well as their digestive products. Typically quite flatulent animals. Cute little one. Hi, guys. Where are you in such a hurry to? Are you going to go to Chitwa? Surely that's the only water, unless there's some water on Little Gowrie that they might be thinking of. We just managed to catch them, and now on the southern boundary of Djuma. Just checking to see that there is not an elephant coming up behind us. This is an area where that's happened to me before. I mistook it for a ship when I saw a frog. I didn't realize there was another elephant still straggling behind. Yay! Madonna says that Madonna says that she loves elephants and that we have made her day. I'm thrilled to hear it. I love elephants too, so they've definitely made my day as well. Madonna, it's lovely to have you watching. We do appreciate our celebrity viewers a great deal. Of course, naturally I went blank. I couldn't think of one Madonna song. Not one. Totally blanked. Shall we go watch them? Yes, I know I thought of that one. I lied, I thought of one. They must surely be going to Chitwa. What time is it? I've got to check the hyena dens, because they're not going to stick around Chitwa in time for the TV show, I don't think. It's too much of a risk. No, see, they're not walking towards Chitwa Dam. They're going a bit further south. And unfortunately, just on the boundary here between Chitwa and... They might pop out. There they go. You know, huge hurry. It's the first time I've seen them actually stop to feed since I first spotted them. Sometimes you watch hungry members of the herd get the nibbles while they're being raced along, and they reach out and grab a branch on the run. And that tree obviously is irresistible, whatever it is. I can't tell, no, the light's so dim. It looks like a quarry, which wouldn't make much sense. Perhaps there's something in it that they're after. Oh. Time to go, boys. That could only have been two males hanging out at the back. Cool. Well, that was nice. Brief, but nice. There's a vehicle coming this way. I might try and find out some information about what's happening this side. I think they think I have a leopard. All right. I'm going to just go and have a chat to this vehicle. In the meantime, Tristan is the master of positioning the vehicle, and he's found himself in the perfect spot.
Well, we've reversed a long way again and managed to get in front of Hukumuri, who's slowly plodding his way along northwards on vertical access. Unfortunately, the wrong direction altogether, because we're supposed to start our show in an hour's time, and we're not going to have this cat in an hour if he keeps this rate at which he's going. The only saving grace is that if he keeps on this road, he is uncertain. Well, definitely will pick up Tingana's scent. This is where Tingana was found this morning, was on this road, so I wouldn't be surprised. That's what he's busy smelling. You can see, look how he's got his nose there. And he's kind of checking that bush. Wonder if Tingana didn't scent mark there. And now it's a battle of scent marking and boundary marking to make sure that each one understands where the limits of their boundaries are. But he looks like he's ready for a fight, doesn't he? It reminds me of Mike Tyson, this leopard. He's got that same kind of demeanor to him. Right, Sens, I'm going to move back a little bit further again just so we can have the same shot coming towards us. It's just so nice when you can have a leopard like that. The nice thing is I've also taken it out of low range, which means you guys don't have to listen to the whining engine of a Land Rover. Tiamat, it doesn't until it sees the male leopard. So it doesn't have any idea that it's bigger until such time as it sees the other male. And then obviously it will realize, hang on a second, I'm not as big as the other one. But it will try and vocalize and scent mark and do all those kind of things until such time as that leopard, or they come together, and then they'll be able to work out who's bigger by size. And in terms of knowing if the other leopard is bigger by size, well, they stand side by side. So it's much like you as a person. You can see another person, you realize very quickly that that person is bigger. Are you going for a poo? Oh, lovely. I'm glad that we are here, not down there, because otherwise we would have had to have driven past that. And I can promise you, a processed warthog that has been dead for 3 days and then it comes out 2 days later is not very pleasant at all. Yes, we can start calling him Pumuri. Maybe that can be his next litter of cubs, is Pumuri. And that's what we can maybe call those, because there's definitely still Shimuri and Hukadulu that just needs to stay. Obviously, one of them, unfortunately, is died from the Shadulu combination, but we can still, I think Hukadulu is the best one though. I don't like Shamuri as much as Hukadulu. Hukadulu is definitely the better of the two names. Boy, you need to stop now. Can you not sit down there? Please, you've been walking for the last hour and a half. Actually, almost 2 hours. He's not listening at all. Right, so something that is far cuter than this face walking down the road to me is the baby Ellie that Jamie has currently.
Look, look, look how cute it is. Absolutely adorable. That is a relatively new little baby elephant. Hi, Mom. You clever girl. Come on. Here's your mom. Here's your mom. Catch up. Sweet. Also, unfortunately, disappearing onto little Gary. I don't want to start up because Mom was a bit nervous. She's split up from the rest of her herd. So she was feeling a little bit unsettled. She's only got some youngsters with her. Yeah, let me turn now so you can see the baby running off because his little legs are working so furiously to keep up with Mom. Is that good, Darv? Cool. Run, run, run. Looks like a little boy, I think. Oh, they are cute like that with those long legs. Trotting along behind Mum. Oh, sweet. I haven't had a good baby Ellie sighting in such a long time. They are so precious. Bye-bye, guys. That was fun while it lasted. Just little feet. I'm going to see if I can find its track, although it's a bit dark and a bit gloomy now. Tail held out in excitement. And straight towards water. Well, that was nice. That was a nice little surprise because I thought the rest of the herd had gone. They have now. Little Gowrie. There must be water somewhere down that side. By the way, I found out where the other Nkuhumas are. So there's 3 on Torchwood. And apparently there's 4 at Big Dam on Elephant Plains or Shirley side. Well, my elephants have given us the slip. Fortunately, James has done a marvelous job of keeping up with Hosana.
These guys won't think it's good. Hello again, everyone. There is Hosana. He is giving us a serious run around. Jigger is having a workout. Her arthritic parts certainly didn't expect this afternoon. Let us continue. Hello. Oh. Yee. We're right. Okay, we made it. The kitty is just in front of us. He's investigating a little termite mound. I'll stop here for a second. You can hear that we're not the only ones here. Aubrey, too, is trying to keep up with him. He has some very noisy guests. Hello, Chicken and Barbie. That's a very interesting question you've asked, actually. There are 2 likely scenarios where a leopard would be a non-dominant male. One such as this chap finds himself in now. So he just sort of hit puberty. He's not an adult yet. And so he lives in the domain of his father and of other male leopards, actually. So he has not always lived in his father's domain. He has been away for holidays in the domain of the Anderson male. So he is a non-dominant male leopard. And then just before retirement, permanent retirement, I mean, they often do have a period of sort of, well, I suppose you might call it territorial retirement, where they don't, in fact, hold territory anymore. A good example would be a leopard called Mvula, who seemed not to hold territory for the last year or so of his life, but he mated. I'm not sure if it was a successful mating or not. I don't think it was. But what's quite interesting is that he did manage to hold, to survive without being a territorial male. We know of a leopard called... What is that leopard's name? Who we sometimes see? I've forgotten his name. What is it? Begins with an M. Anyway, it's a leopard that seems not to have had a territory for any length of time. He's held little... That's it, Mfokazi. Thank you, Kirsten. Who's held territory for very brief periods at various stages. And we've seen him once, and, he pops up now and again around the Sabi Sands, but doesn't seem to have ever established himself like Tingana, our male leopard, or as Hukumuri, of course. So, yeah, I guess there are certain conditions under which a male leopard would not be territorial. Look at his ears, got a little bit mangled there on the right-hand side. And on the left, actually. This is a sign of coming adulthood. This is Tingana. This is not Hosana. Yeah, this is Tingana. Where's Hosana? Because we were definitely following Hosana. We've found another leopard. Right in the same area.
Oh, there, in front of you.
He's in front of us. Here he comes. He's just behind us. We've got both leopards here. Right here, just behind that bush. This is amazing. I was just looking at this cat's ears and thinking, that's very odd. And then at his spot pattern, and I thought, imagine. Phew, I thought I'd lost my mind. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what's happened here. Tingana's come out of the drainage line. I don't think he knows Hosana's behind him. Hosana's been totally silent behind him. Watching his father, he's watching him. Tingana can smell, of course, that there's a leopard around here. Hosana standing dead still just behind him. And of course, with all the birds making such a noise, this is just so special, everybody. Oh, look, and Hosana's following Dad now. Or trying to sneak away from him. Yes, now he's following his father. Just watch Tingana behind you there, Sebs.
Yeah,
Tingana's about to climb onto Seb's lap from behind. This is unbelievable. Naturally, of course, by the time we go live for the TV show, there will be no leopards anywhere around here. But for now, we'll just enjoy it. Sorry, I can't move, everyone. Tingana's still sitting right behind us, and Hosana behind that bush. You're all worried there's going to be a fight. Well, there might be a chase. I don't think there'll be a fight, though. Yeah. Where's he looking?
He's looking better at the moment.
He's looking up towards the other side.
Yeah, no? Looking away.
He's walking away now. Yeah, he's just walking away behind us. Hosana watching. I don't know who to stay with. I think we're probably going to stay with Hosana. He's slightly more tolerant. But Tingana's not going to give up here. Tingana knows there's another leopard here. Yeah, Kirsten, let's go for an unscheduled and see what happens. Good evening. We are sitting here on the western fringes of the Great Kruger National Park, watching a very interesting scene unfolding. A young male leopard, Hosana, is over there, and he's following his father, who has smelt his presence and doesn't know exactly where his son is. My name is James Henry. We've got Sebastian on camera, and we've got a very interesting family dynamic unfolding here. Hosana, just over 3 years old. Tingana, a 13-year-old male. And Tingana has gone off. Behind us, I don't want to move just yet. Hosana is watching Tingana. And just to clarify, Hosana is Tingana's son. It's just got dark here in the Western Kruger. It's just after 5:30 in the afternoon. And if they do meet, we're going to be fascinated to see what happens. I suspect father will chase son. But it is interesting that son is following father, despite the fact that father is very clearly looking for son. You can see he looks a little bit nervous. He's still smaller than his dad. Yes, Timothy, as you say, Father's Day is next week. All right, well, there goes Hosana. He's walking as quietly as possible. There are other vehicles with us. If you hear the dim crackle of rifle fire, it's not rifles, actually, it's just cameras taking bog average photographs. I'm just going to stand up and look behind us. I can't see the other male. He's sleeking away now. I don't think they're actually going to meet. They were about to meet almost entirely by chance. It was quite fascinating. We were watching one, came around a bush, saw a leopard, assumed it was the same one, and it wasn't. It was actually the son, at least the father. Just let's have a look down here. There he is. There's Tingana. Father's now watching. He's approaching the son. And you see him, Seb. He's just gone behind that bush. I'm going to go forward. There is a lot of thick bush in here, everybody. So if you do hear crunching and crashing, I'm sorry. He's running now. Dad is running. Yeah, running straight ahead of us. Oh, dear. That was a big bush. There's a hyena as well. There's a hyena just off to the left. Unbelievable stuff. We've got the leopard now slowly walking in front of us, just in the splash of that light. Let's carry on. You got him there? Yeah, there he is. That's the father. That's Tingana. This is a quite spectacular afternoon. We're just going to nip in front. Very kindly, they've said we can keep going forward. Yeah, I can see them both now. Father is on son's tail. I don't know that we'll be able to see them, though, if I stop. Just see Hosana in front of Tingana. He's now being stalked, of course. Son is. You should be able to get a view just behind this bush here. There is Tingana. There. Straight in front. Just to the right. Beth, you say your heart rate just jumped. Yes, mine did too. I'm going to carry on, Seb, just get around these bushes. Hosana's just in front here. There's Hosana and Tingana coming up now behind. Sim, you say, is this really live? Absolutely it is. That's why you're seeing it warts and all, with me parking behind bushes when I shouldn't be, and us trying desperately to get into a position where we can see them both. I can just see them. The camera's not picking them up because it's dark, but it will. There's Tingana. Hosana probably just about to pop out on this game path in front of us. There's Tingana.
I've got one over
That's
there.
Tingana, definitely. You can see the dewlap. He's much heavier than his son. No, that's...
I'm filming Hosana.
You've got
at the
Hosana
moment.
there.
Yeah.
and his father's just behind him. I'm going to move quick, Seb. Yeah, there's Tingana behind him. That's Tingana. Looking for his son, and I think Hosana has probably just dipped down into this drainage line. No, I can just see him, I think. There. There's a fight. They're fighting. There, off to the right, off to the left. Yeah, there was a big growling match, and father chased son away. I'm afraid I don't know if we're going to get a view in here. There we go.
Where?
There, straight to the left. There's a bush naturally in the way. There they go, running straight up that way. So Seb, can you turn that light off a little bit? I'm blinded, I can't see anything. Yeah, thank you. Sorry about this, everybody. It is very exciting trying to keep up with what's going on here. There we go, one leopard in front. That's Tingana. Now, I don't know if you heard that. That was Hosana shouting. And I'm sorry you didn't see them both, but it was impossible for me to get into a position without a bush in the way. Yeah, I'm sorry the car's also very noisy, but it's impossible through here, I'm afraid.
Wait.
I can hear Hosana calling.
Yeah.
He's calling.
Go. Where is he?
He's just to the right. I don't think he's gone up a tree. Sorry, everyone. Let's move. Impossible to keep up with these things in the day, let alone at night like this. This is fantastically exciting. But now, Tingana has been, up until this point, extremely tolerant of his son. There we have Tingana. That's Tingana, I think, and I think Hosana's just in front of him. There you can hear him shouting. This is bizarre, because that's Tingana that's lying down. I'm going to move slightly forward, Seb. Let's see if we can't see them both. There's Tingana. And I say it was interesting because up until this point, Tingana has been tolerant of Hosana, but not anymore. Hosana is somewhere around here growling. You can see the saliva coming out of his mouth there. That's very typical of leopards who are having a territorial fight. He's not growling at all. The other one, I think, is not far from here. I'm just going to shine my spotlight up into this area. See if I can get a sign of Hosana. There he is. I'm just going to shift it forward slightly, Seb.
Okay.
He's just in there. You can just see his eyes shining. I'm not going to... He's just in there. You won't see him with the camera, but that's where he is. I just saw his eyes shining behind that bush there. Let's stick on Tingana for now. I said it was very strange that he should have lain down like he did there, because that's almost submissive. But you can see he's not being submissive at all. He's angry. Now, leopards who are having a battle will often just lie next to each other like this. David, oh, Hosana does want to be left alone to a certain extent, but he almost sought his father out. He could easily have snuck away, but he didn't. He waited, and then followed his dad for a while, and then turned and moved away. But then Tingana picked up the scent. But we've watched Hosana approach other leopards countless times as a youngster. He's now moving into adulthood, and so that behavior should lessen. Now, a number of you commenting on the spotlight and asking if it's blinding him. It's certainly not blinding him. Is it affecting the fight? No, I don't think it is. These cats are very used to the spotlights, very used to the vehicles. There's Tingana now, deciding to get up and move. I'll just keep an eye on Hosana, who's just in the bush behind there. Let's see if he follows. Okay, I'm going to move, and we're going to get a view of Hosana. What we'll do is quickly see if we can get a view of Hosana, and if we can, then we'll close with that. Otherwise, yeah, here we go. Oh, he's going to follow his father again. This is unbelievable. Can you see him there, Sid? I'm just going to reverse back slightly. No, I'm not. We won't be able to see him. What you don't want to do is get caught in between them. Now, I don't know if there was physical contact or not. But now he continues. You see, this is what this cat does. He's looking for his father. He's looking for trouble. I don't think it's a territorial thing that he's doing. He's just right here. He's smelling where his dad was. Absolutely fascinating interaction, that. I'm sorry we didn't get to see it all, but I'm sure you got an impression of how exciting it was. Sorry about the antenna there. I can't move currently because there's a small traffic jam behind me. Okay. I think we're going to probably end this. I'll just see if I can have another quick look. Wasn't that absolutely astounding? Watching a father leopard chase his son, telling him to get out of the house and be a man, my son. Absolutely great. All right, we'll say goodbye to you and hope that you enjoyed that. And if you want to keep on watching, just go to YouTube, type in Safari Live, and you can watch the rest of our drive. And we have an hour-long TV show starting at 6:30 as well, so you can watch that too. Thanks very much for joining us. Okay, everybody, what did you think of that? That was pretty interesting. I think we're going to stay with Hosana. I'm not going to try and find Tingana. He seems to have gone off into the thick stuff down towards the right. We might have them both again at some stage. Absolutely amazing stuff. I'm just going to turn off here so that he can hear. That is Hosana. All right, let's go back to yet another leopard with Tristan and Nkuhuma. Now he's chasing his father.
Well, James, good luck following both boys. Since he's just there, if you can see him. We're still with Nkuhuma. You can see his tail's just there, but he's probably about not even 2 minutes from crossing into Simambili. So the chances of us having him for much longer is almost gone, which is typical. This is how a Sunday often works, is that you'll spend most of your day following a leopard, and then it will move off just before things or before you really need them to be around, which is for obviously our TV show just now. But anyway, he's stalking something now, so let's hope that he settles and actually stalks. It's why I've got no lights on. It's why I'm not moving as well, is because he was watching something, and so I have no idea what it is. We're going to try and follow him though. In the meantime, let's send you back across to Hosana, who's still watching Tingana.
I think there's about to be another confrontation here, everybody. I can't talk now, Jamie. Sorry, Jamie, just trying to get hold of me on the game drive radio. I don't know what's going on here. I think he's definitely seen Tingana in here. Here we go. So amazingly slow. And now they're in the thick stuff. Now they're in the thickest of the thick. You see them?
No, I'm saying
You went in there?
can't go in there.
No. We can't go, definitely can't go in there. I have no idea what's going on now. I'm afraid. Oh, we are in a serious bind. I'm just going to nudge the squarry. He ran down here. Can't hear, see. As I predicted, of course, by the time we go live for our TV show, we will have nothing to look at. Yeah, I'm afraid that's it, everybody. I can't get any further. I'm just going to have to listen and see if we can't maybe go round and pick him up. Here we go. There's a bit of noise here.
Yeah.
Does it look like they've got him behind us there, Sib? Deeply frustrating trying to film through all those bushes. Orbs have you got in there? All right, I think let's go across to Jamie. No, I don't know what she's doing.
There. All right, sorry, I've just been discussing with Darby. We're trying to help James out here as much as we can, especially in case if Hosana turns and runs. We're going to try either keep up with him or stay with Tingana. It just depends upon what they're doing. And because they're in a thick drainage line here, I know this drainage line really, really well. We're using the flare to look up ahead in case they pop out. So we're just basically acting as backup for James. Shame, I've been trying to get hold of him on the game drive radio, but he's concentrating so hard on what's going on. It's very tricky to juggle everything. So we're scanning really carefully with the flare. Up ahead, it's just the road. All I can see are trees. And there's nothing really that's popped out here. I saw where the spotlight was up ahead, and I don't see anything in the flare yet. I'm trying to decide if it's worth our while going forward, but I don't think so. I think we'll hear them. What's that there, Dav? Is that a... It's a branch. It's just a tree. Do you think I'm overexcited by any chance? Possibly. I don't think they're going to split. I think they're going to stay together for the duration of the TV show. But I don't know. I can't make that call. So I'm just sitting here in case they decide to split up, and then we'll step in. We're trying to help James keep track. Now that's our plan, such as it is. You can see, obviously, how much further the flare can see than the... Oh! My goodness gracious. Moth. All right, while we sit here and wait, Hukumuri has very kindly obliged Tristan and has finally laid down.
Hukumuri, unfortunately, is about to cross out. He's very, very close to Triple M now. I don't think we're going to have him much more than 2 minutes. The good news is that somehow there is some... Well, I might speak a little bit soon. I'll have to double check, but apparently 2 evokers have just crossed in right north of where we are right now as well. So the problem with that is that's right up against the gate area, and so they could either go into the Manyeleti or they could come our way. But we're going to try and see. I'm going to stay with Hukumuri while he crosses out, and then I'll try and relocate on the males just now. But they should be just north of where we are at the moment. Interestingly enough, Hukumuri's now changed direction, is heading straight north, which is quite strange, and his nose is to the ground. So I don't know what he's smelling. Where are you, boy? There you are. You can see now he's on the trail of something, that's for sure, because he's really nose down very quickly at the moment. If you watch him coming out of that area now, you'll see how his nose is down, and then he's phlegm grimacing as well, which is quite interesting. What have you smelt, boy? And he walked past a diker just now, which I think he just decided was no good for him. That's too fast. He prefers slower animals. Okay, he's going to walk right past us. What are you smelling, boy? I'm intrigued by what it is he could potentially be smelling. I honestly have no idea what could be have walked here. And it's not like we've had any tracks for any leopards or seen any leopards up the side. He briefly centered where Tingana was this morning, exactly there, and scent marked over where Tingana scent marked, and then just carried on. So he's obviously just decided not worth following Tingana, but something else has piqued his interest here massively. And like I say, his direction has changed slightly. While he's still angling westwards, he's much more kind of in a northerly direction than he was previously. Everyone's wondering about him heading towards Tingana and Hosana. If he heard the noises, undoubtedly yes. Male leopard hears other leopards fighting. He's going to go and see what's going on. The only thing is that, I mean, he's too far now to hear it. That's for sure. I don't think he'll head that way just yet. Well, you never know, actually. Things can change quickly. But at this stage, I don't think so. He doesn't seem like he's heading anywhere near there. In fact, all we're doing is just going straight north at this stage, which we can't do much longer because eventually we're going to hit the gate. So at that point, it'll be interesting to see if he's going to turn. But my gut feel says he's going to go west and he's going to move away from this area. I don't think he wants to have any sort of confrontation with Tingana at this stage because he's smelt Tingana and he hasn't trailed him at all. So maybe he's just decided he's happy going the way that he's going. Now he's cutting now back east again, which is interesting. I don't know if he's going because he smelt something here, but at this rate he's going to bump into 2 male lions, which I can assure you he doesn't want to bump into. As much as he doesn't want to bump into Tingana, 2 male lions is worse. So he's going to have to be a bit careful about the way that he goes about things. I don't know if maybe this is where Tingana walked this morning. I know Tingana was around, but I don't think he came this far west. I think Tingana went more sort of towards Aubrey's before so cut line, but Hukumuri, should I say, sorry. There's all these leopards around today. Seems to be kind of walking with something on his mind and some sort of scent that he's trailing. Incredible animal, though, isn't he? Say what you want, Might not be everyone's favourite, but I like him. I think he's got something about him that is quite special. He's got this look and this kind of wild demeanour which suggests leopard in my eyes. There he goes, just crossing behind Senzo's bottom and into the darkness again. Now he's changed back directly west again, so he's going to scent mark there and sniff about. There's obviously something that he smelt that he doesn't agree with. Anyway, I'm pretty sure we're not going to have him on this evening's TV show. I'm almost 99% sure of that. But at least we had an epic time with him this afternoon. And I hope all of you are going to be tuning into the TV show. Remember, it starts in about half an hour's time because the Hosana Tingana incident or fight might carry on long into the evening. Anyway, it is that time, though, where we need to say goodbye. So from Nkuhuma and all of us, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope we'll see you all just now and again tomorrow morning for the Sunrise Safari.